a end of the school year, like we wouldn't do
No,
much
it's
for
not that easy to
birthday,
find
and then
here.
the end of the school
There's
year.
one level
And when they were
thing.
little, we lived back east. So
Thank you, Rachel. There we
There
go.
we go.
Conference room was muted.
Can you hear us now?
Great.
Yes, much better.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to turn it over to you to help us make our way through the nomination and election of officers of the board.
Okay, wonderful. Did we already do the did we already call the meeting to order and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I missed that part. All right, very good.
We were muted.
So, per section 7 of your bylaws, there are 3 positions that need to be appointed by the board. It's the board chair, vice chair, and secretary. So we're going to follow Rosenberg's rules of order, and we're going to take nominations on each of those positions. And so we'll begin with and then we'll close nominations, and we'll take public comment, and then we'll have an opportunity for the vote. So first with the nominations, beginning with the board chair position, would anyone like to make a nomination for board chair?
I would.
Yes.
I would like to nominate Jennifer Jeffries.
Howard?
Okay. And no second is needed for a nomination, so is there another nomination? No? Uncontested? All right. Then we have the vice chair position. Any nominations for the vice chair position?
I'd like to nominate Sally.
Okay. Any other?
Sally DeVito. Don't want to be overly familiar.
Any other nominations for the vice chair position? No? All right. And next we have the secretary. Any nominations for the secretary position?
You want me to continue? Okay. All right. I would like to nominate our Annabelle Caseco.
Okay.
Due to her beautiful handwriting.
Very good. Director Conseco. Any other nominations for the secretary position? No. All right, then before we close nominations, we'll just go to public comment. Are there any members of the public or online present that would like to provide public comment on this item? Anyone there physically present? I can't tell.
No.
No.
So
Okay.
we have Roy and Tom in the audience, but they are not saying a word. Just so you know.
All right, then we will close nominations and then go to board discussion. Would anyone like to say anything about their nomination?
It's a wonderful slate.
I approve.
Okay. All right, well, I'll just say that I just did this for another agency this week, and that one took 1 hour. And this one is taking less than 3 minutes or 3 minutes, so that's excellent. Yeah, wow. So I think if there's no further discussion, you can entertain Chair, I'll turn it back to you. You can entertain a motion and a second, and then a roll, and then we could do a vote.
And that would be to accept the slate of officers?
Correct.
Okay. May I have a motion to accept the slate of officers as
So moved.
nominated? Thank you. A second, please. Thank you.
Or who we giving that one to? Cindy or no? All right, Annabelle gets that one.
Okay. Okay, and now all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, Alex, we're set to go for another year.
All right. Would you like
Okay.
me to keep going, or would you like to, would the new chair like to take over from here?
I think I'll take over from here. Since it's relatively calm. Otherwise, I'd have you do it. Thank you, Alex, for kicking this off. Item B2, I would like to appoint Howard Solomon as our treasurer for the ensuing year. Howard, I believe you may be willing
I am happy to accept.
and you are able. So thank you, Howard. Yes. And what I would like to do is if anybody's sitting on a committee right now that they would like a change of, if you'll let me know. But what I would like to do is end the evening today with everybody in their same committee assignments. And then I will chat with you if you want to have a different experience. Is that acceptable to everybody? Okay. That's good. All right. Thank you so much. We have annually organized ourselves. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. A second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Moving to public comments. Duly noted. We will now move to the consent items. Is there any item that a board member would like to pull from the consent? May I have a motion to accept the consent items? Thank you, Sally. A second, please. Second. Thank you. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Moving to item F, discussion items. We're going to kick off our discussion items with our Finance Committee report.
Sally and I met with staff on December 3rd, I think, and had a lengthy agenda. But I will try. Yes, you could. Smart Alec.
Not smart Alex.
Alex is like, what I say? I didn't say. Smart Siri. Smart Siri.
Yes,
Smart Alex.
Oh, he is smart. Okay, he's smart.
Let me get to this lengthy agenda here. Yeah. I think I passed. No, I didn't. Anybody want to give me a page number?
16.
Okay, thanks. All right. So we, of course, reviewed the financials and there was nothing really exceptional. So we moved on to other matters. The first of which is we approved, sorry about this. I'm just gonna do it from memory. We reviewed the audit and are recommending that that audit be approved. And so, Ms. Chairman, if you want to take these one by one or the entire financial,
Recommendations.
yeah.
Why don't we take them one at a time, so we.
Well, from this last, the most recent committee, we didn't have any recommendations that came out of committee. The audit and any of those others were actually from the November meeting, which was already approved. So the current finance reports, Howard, should start on as later pages.
Yeah, I thought they did. What?
Report 1 starts on page 7.
Yeah, page 17 is the first of the October financial reports.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then while Howard's maneuvering to that, the finance committee, we had a conversation about how many of the other districts are doing financial reporting. Many of the other districts actually have the finance team, depending on the size of the district, actually do that reporting instead of the treasurer. Because we will be bringing on that new team member that handles our finance and systems. We talked about what those changes might look like on how we'll do that reporting. And so what we're likely to do is have a report that comes from me with support from the team. So that in the January board meeting, that report will probably come from me out of that committee. So that was the change that we discussed
In finance.
in finance committee.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Let me just tell you that in October, we had a total income of $376,612. And our total expenses were about twice of that, $750,538. And as we've said before, since our income is irregular because of the income tax or of the property tax, we have to dip into our cash to meet those expenses. And fortunately, we've got a lot of cash from previous months. So our net operating income was $370,926 for October. I'd like to note the investment compliance report, which is ably done by Susan Lugard. And first is the local agency investment fund. And in October, the balance was $409,840, which is about almost 5% of the district's investment portfolio. The average monthly yield for October was 4.150%. And another fund, the second fund that we have our investments in is CalTrust. And in October, the net asset value was $6,644,360. This represents about 78% of our portfolio. And in October, we had $22,579 dollars in dividend income, and the yield on the medium-term fund of a CalTrust was 4.14%, and on the one-year yield liquidity fund was 4.56%. The last or the third of the accounts is California Class. And in October, our balance in that fund was $1,467,820. That represents about 17.22% of our investment portfolio. And in October, the district reported $5,203 in earnings. The 30-day average yield was 4.18%.
Very good. Thank you, Howard.
You're welcome.
I was pleased to see that we're nearing the flip in the retirement system costs for us.
Yeah, so this last month is our only month where you're gonna see a payment to both CalPERS and to SDRMA for employee benefits, and that has to do with the changeover of billing.
Right.
So we knew that was coming. We made sure to let finance team know that was not an error. We did know that we were moving from the one to the other, but this is how it closes out the years, basically.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Any questions from colleagues? Okay. Could I have am I making motions on these discussion items? Okay. May I have a motion to accept the finance committee meeting, or the finance committee report?
So moved.
Okay, and a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cindy second?
Oh,
Anna.
Thank you.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank
F2, the annual moment of LAFCO calling out and saying, vote for these people who are willing to serve on yet another separate committee. We've had a chance to look at the qualifications of the individuals. So,
Rachel, who do you recommend?
I've looked through it, and obviously I work with some of these folks pretty well. Of the folks that I would say I would like to see the board continue to support, Kim Thorner, Jack Beebe, Albert Lau, Dave McQuaid, Mike Sims, James Gordon, and Erica Wolski are folks that I believe would do well on that. So those are folks that I would recommend, but obviously you can do whatever you'd like. But those are the folks that I've worked with on this committee, and I feel that they do a good job with that committee specifically for LAFCO.
and understand our particular uniqueness.
It's a good
And
mix.
Jack's on there.
Yeah, it's a good mix. There, of course, you have a lot of water, wastewater folks on there,
Right.
but you also have some fire. And because I sit on the committee for the Special District Advisory Committee, I sit on that. My term is not up, so I'm not being voted for. But these are folks that I've gotten to know pretty well.
Okay. Is there anybody who would like to amend that recommendation or those names? Do I have a motion to accept that slate that has been given to us?
I move we accept that slate.
Thank you. A second?
A second.
Thank you, Cindy. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll submit that ballot on behalf of the district.
Wonderful. Our next two items are quite forward-looking and not routine. And the Strategic Planning Committee has not had an opportunity to consider these two. Let's look at F3, the Community Needs Assessment RFP, request for proposal. This would be the document that Rachel would send out to potential individuals or organizations to help us with the next inquiring of our community of what they would like to see us continue doing, change some things, and do some new things. So I want to thank Rachel for her initial drafting of the report, and we were able to talk about it in the strategic planning committee and have familiarity with it. Let's open it up to board colleagues who may have questions or observations.
And obviously this will get formatted with Alex's review, but this is basically the terms and the expectations of any report that we would ask from these consultants.
I think it looks good.
It seems very comprehensive to me.
Mr. DeMille is ready for the close-up. Okay, may I have a motion to approve this RFP for future community needs assessments?
So moved.
Thank you. In a second.
Chair, did we take public comment on the item?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Back up the bus. Any public comment on the RFP for community needs assessment? Thank you.
Keeping us honest.
Yeah, keep us orderly in here. We don't want to be disorderly. I think we have a second and a motion and a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Next is a significant change in the way we will be approaching grant making. And I was very interested to see, I'm gonna not know her name. The
Mackenzie Scott.
Thank you, Mackenzie Scott, who is highly involved in this particular way of doing grant making. And there was a big article about her in the San Diego Union about the good things that can happen when we move away from micro and allow these organizations to look big picture and use our funding to the benefit of the big picture and not the small pieces. So let me ask if there are any public inquiries about this particular item. Okay. Let's go to board comments. Any observations you'd like to make? Any hesitations you have? It's a significant difference in how we've done.
Rachel, can you just, from your perspective, just kind of explain?
Sure. So by moving to a trust-based grant-making model, what we're doing is we are saying to our nonprofit partners, we know who you are. We see the work that you do in the community. So instead of us forcing a square peg into a round hole by having demands on how they utilize the funds to do the service that we know they already do, the district would have a different application format that says, tell us how you, in the holistic sense that your agency serves the community. And then we would provide grant funding to them to serve that. Instead of us saying, tell us the little tiny micro component of this program and how does this dollar fit to this need. The shift is really more philosophical, which is, again, we don't need to force you into an accountability paperwork. We see you, we see the work you're doing. It's a small town, and it allows them, it allows the nonprofit to be more flexible, so that should their agency needs changes and they need to shift funds around within the agency to make that service happen, they have the flexibility to do that. It also creates more of an equal power and a partnership. So instead of the district dictating to the nonprofit, this is what you will do and this is what we're paying you for in this transactional style relationship, we're now saying we trust that you do what you say you're going to do. We're providing these funds to you as a partner for you to provide those funds. And while that shift seems subtle, it does make a huge difference in how an agency can operate. And to Jennifer's earlier point, Mackenzie Scott has become the largest, essentially philanthropic donor of this model, where they through her foundation, she identifies an organization and they say, we see that you have a need, you're doing good work, here's your millions, billions to do that work. And they're not being constrained by how they spend that money. They're not being constrained by the laborious reporting process. So that would be the other part that would change. Besides the giant binder you get when you're trying to, Cindy's like, I don't want to do that one. Basically what would happen is it would be more conversational. They would provide a white paper style proposal to us. This is how we provide services. This is what we do. That's what we would get to know and read. I would still do a lot of the compliance paperwork, Raquel and myself, making sure their 990 is appropriate, all of those pieces. Then when it comes to the reporting, they would do a final year-end report instead of these quarterly reports that try to say, I spent my $5 here and my $10 there. At the end of the year, they can say the investment that the district provided to us allowed our agency to provide all of this above and beyond any one singular program. So that's what the main kind of paper was involved with this. With that, I've also amended our basic grant policy that we update annually anyway to just kind of be more in line with this. We would have another document, which is the actual contract that we do as part of the grant, that would have a few minor tweaks to it yet, but we don't typically do that particular document until we've awarded the grants. Does that give enough background for?
Yeah, I think so. So like, the thing that jumps to mind is the Boys and Girls Club. They have the swim program that they submit for and another program.
Right.
So they won't do a specific program now.
Correct.
They're just gonna say, these are all the things that we do for the community.
Correct.
And this is what we're asking for as a contribution to all of those things.
Correct. And so at the end of the year, they would be able to say, we did this much in swimming and this much for our after-school tutoring and this much for this, and all of those things that still make sense where our missions align, right? We're not going to fund agencies that have nothing to do with health and wellness, but things that do have to do with that. You wouldn't have awarded them in the first place if it is questionable, or a mission that doesn't align with ours. Yeah.
So does that mean that our questionnaires or their scoring might change again this year, how we,
Yes.
just because since it's not a specific program, and even though Boys and Girls Club, their whole mission also is health, there's other stuff as well
Right.
too, it will change.
So instead of it being as concrete as it was, it would be more of a conversation among the board of, does this agency's mission align with ours?
Okay.
To what degree we feel that this is the group? I mean, we're still going to have a limited amount of funds to grant. So it's going to be what can we fund and where? Instead of, how about this program, but I really like that program, of that nature.
I do know that the policy allows visits, that we feel we'd like to do that.
And we could also ask for additional information if we had any interest in that.
Correct, and we would do that actually probably before the formal application process. So the idea is, again, it's more partnership, more relational, instead of that transactional relationship.
And we did have a conversation in strategic planning that if there are new organizations that we want to partner with, the on-ramp would be much more structured in order, because the known quantities, we're already rowing with them quite well.
Yeah.
But if we have an interest in a new funding, that Rachel would do work with them to assure a degree of assurances.
Right.
As we move into the trust model with them. So there'd be these layers of conversation. I'd say that.
And you're seeing more and more grant maker organizations move toward this trust model. It's been something that's been going on in the nonprofit literature for quite a while. It does take a shift in thinking, so it's been slow to move. Mackenzie Scott has obviously accelerated that by being able to demonstrate that it works and that it's actually much more effective for the nonprofits to be able to have the freedom to use those funds as they best see fit to provide their mission. Instead of us as the funder saying, well, I don't want to support you buying the pencils or whatever the thing. Does that make sense?
I can see how, especially Fallbrook in our area, it's small, so there are small organizations, so the trust is there to build. The only thing I have, not concerns, but just if it is a big organization that sees like, oh yeah, we can come in Fallbrook, or we can come in this area just to get the money to serve, you know what I mean?
Well, we still have the guardrails. There still has to be an agreement that at least, 80% of those who are served are going to be in our area. So they might be a larger organization, but if they're coming into town and providing a service that no one else is, that's still a value to our community. The work would be on the front end of my creating a pipeline to, okay, how do you serve our community? What is your process? Let me see your intake. Let me see your financials, the things that typically bog down your current application process. I can make sure that that's done in advance. We essentially already download those and look at those before those packets come to you anyway. So
Okay.
it's not really a fundamental shift in our process, just in the way we think about it.
Is there anything about the new process that's gonna make it more difficult for a smaller company or a newer company to,
Make their point.
make their
I don't-
way into a community that, like I said, we know all of these entities, the food pantries, but they've got a proven record. or
I
something.
would think not, because they actually have an opportunity to provide an introduction letter to us that can take more space to explain how their mission serves that need. Right now, with this highly structured format, they have to talk about a program, and it really limits their ability to be expansive in what they do. Here, they'll be able to say, our agency provides this holistic service, and the strength of that conversation and the opportunity to potentially do site visits before any applications are submitted, gives you all more opportunity to potentially meet these new agencies.
Very good. Is there gonna be, the timeline gonna be about the same?
Yeah, I've shifted it back, so I think in the policy I have it set, so instead of the March review with an April approval, it would be a April review, May into the budget. So it gives me an additional month to do those conversations.
So we're not talking about lowering accountability.
No,
We're talking about affording nonprofits flexibility so they can move where the need is and not be tied to what was good 6 months ago may not be brilliant right now.
correct.
But the accountability will still.
The other piece that this allows them to, and this is from the nonprofit experience, is I may be an agency that provides A, B, and C services, and I write grants for all of them. And whatever the year, all my A gets funded. Well, this would allow that agency to say, okay, my A is funded by these other people. I can use the funds that the district entrusted us with to support program B and C, which still fits the district's alignment with that mission. And it makes that agency strong.
So what if the mission has maybe one program or one thing that doesn't align with us? Then we would have a discussion and be like,
We could,
they can have, say we decided this amount, but then our recommendation would be less because this section doesn't align with it.
Potentially.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna have very few agencies that would have, most yes and this no. If you're serving a humanitarian need, right, it's probably going to fit with our alignment with our social determinants of health. If you suddenly are a agency that decides between now and when I funded you, that you're gonna suddenly build housing.
Yeah.
Okay, that is not who you are. Why are you suddenly doing that?
Mhm.
That's not gonna align with the contract that we signed with them. It's not gonna fit with their mission. Well, we'll have known that before we funded them. Otherwise, they're not in compliance with the services that they've contracted with.
And I so appreciate those inquiries. We need to throw it out there and kind of explore, so thank you for coming. Any other questions or inquiries? May I have a motion to accept the recommendation to approve the updated community health contracts grants policy? F4.
So moved.
You have a second? Okay, any other questions? Great.
I think the shift is outstanding. Being involved in several nonprofits, it will be a lot easier for a nonprofit to prove their value in what they do than having to explain how this specific project is going to fit the grant. And I think it's actually wonderful. I'm hoping that this model can be taught to other grantors, a community benefit that followed your older model to where they can learn to support the organization and not a specific project. Thank you.
Quite frankly, that makes my heart sing that the citizen of the year likes us. He really likes us. Thank you, Roy. Thank you so much. Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Very good.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And on to the mundanities of life, F5, update on administration office solar project and boundary adjustment. Yes, please tell us.
So, yeah, I'll bring that forward. This was brought to facilities, so that they're aware. From the Wayback Machine last month when we discussed this, I did go back and find out from the surveyor to resurvey, to find out what we would need to provide the exact 50% of dirt on either side. That survey would be an additional $3,500. On top of that, before we did the survey, I reached out to SiteLogic to make sure that if this new 50% dirt boundary was identified, would that still allow the SiteLogic project to continue with the amount of space that they need to be able to put in the solar array? So Greg, who is our project manager on that, went back to his team of architects. They looked at a few things. There was a potential on how some things could move. There were some concerns about easements of the 10 foot of space. While it's possible, it would be very difficult. So, the thought is really now, in order for us to continue with this project, we would have to resurvey it. We have to make the presumption that should the survey come out and still somehow potentially fit with the SiteLogic architect plan, we could then provide another potential agreement to Dr. Skio, presuming that eventually makes him happy and he signs, we could move forward. I double checked with Alex today per the contract that we have with SiteLogic. At this point, I don't see a smart return on investment with this project anymore. So I think it may be in our best interest to just not proceed with the solar project, not proceed with the lot line adjustment, and then go back to status quo with how it was. we would not lose the additional funds that we would have to make that lot line adjustment. And we wouldn't spend the money to put in the other solar and EV, which at this point has become a year and a half delayed and quite a bit of time, money, and energy into it.
Thank you for that horror story.
I'm sorry to say.
Okay, so we have a staff recommendation to approve not going forward. That's really what this is. Questions, observations?
Is there anything that would happen in the future that we would go forward now?
No, what this basically does is it puts us back to, well, it actually leaves us where we are, which is the original terms of the sale of the property to Dr. Skio for the urgent care remain in place. It must stay in urgent care till 2030. He wouldn't have right to sell it without our permission until 2030. The intent of the sale was never for that part of the parking lot to go to him. He doesn't use it. So we would continue to use it. So pretty much everything just sits as it is.
It's unfortunate.
You mean you would not upgrade the parking lot?
Here,
Yes.
correct. It would, I mean, we already repaved it 3 years ago, but we wouldn't make any other changes to it.
No solar.
No solar.
Hey. May I call for a motion? To,
I have
to-
one more question.
yes, please.
So we don't see in the future him coming at us for anything else? Okay, is it part of the parking lot? It's,
It falls onto his lot line, yeah.
but he has no legal.
Well, and that was the original discussion, and Alex, feel free to weigh in here. The original intent of the sale, because there was a misunderstanding of the language that described the property. When Dr. Skio bought the property, he did not understand that that area was included in that boundary. That was found in discovery when we started this project. So.
Right, yeah.
Anything yeah, please.
I was gonna say the circumstances surrounding the contract itself are pretty clear that that parking lot area wasn't contemplated. The problem was the legal description that was included as an attachment to the contract during the original purchase agreement. That's what led to the confusion about, well, where is the property line? Because everything else kind of makes sense. So at this point, if we don't proceed, then if we don't proceed with the solar panel project, we also don't proceed with the contract with Dr. Skio, and we also don't pay the attorney's fees and all the other benefits he was going to get either.
Same with the, we're not legally responsible for any of like the taxes.
No. That would, that 30,000 would not be payable to him.
Okay. Like, not, we know.
Yeah, no. That was a demand request for him in order to proceed with this. If we don't proceed, we don't need to pay that demand.
On the question of the property taxes, that's a super interesting one, because the reason he's being assessed for that property is because the legal description is his. So long as he doesn't change the legal description, right? So so long as he doesn't change that legal description, so it's the district, he's still going to be on the hook according to the county for payment of those property taxes. So he's super incentivized to make that transition over. It's just kind of unfortunate the way these negotiations have proceeded to date. by the way, there's still nothing preventing him from fixing that lot, making that lot line adjustment. On his end, whether or not this contract goes through, there's nothing preventing him on his end from helping facilitate this lot line adjustment and relieving himself of the property tax liability.
Okay. All in somebody else's court. Yeah. Okay, may I have a motion to not go forward?
Basically, we'll no longer consider the boundary adjustment and we'll move forward with canceling the rest of the contract with Site Project.
Thank you. Cindy, a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Madam Chairman,
Yes?
and this makes my heart sing.
No, it's just. I did to Howard. Thank you, Alex, for entering into the Cobra nest here and helping us figure this out. We appreciate it. Okay, having concluded the discussion items, I believe we are going to adjourn into closed session. So does the Alex?
Chair, I was just going to say, just to make sure we take public comment on the closed session item before we go into closed session. That's all.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments related to the closed session item G1 in public employee evaluation? Okay. We will now take a recess we'll now move into closed session.
See you all.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Happy Christmas.